My name is Genki, and I'm here with Alex, and we're with the National Weather Service in Missoula, and we'll be taking a look at kind of the flood outlook, mainly around the Clark Fork and the Bitterroot River, and yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about the Seeley Lake area as well. So looking at the current snowpack across western Montana, I mean, we're well above normal for this time of year with, the upper Clark Fork, right at a little over 160%, and even the Bitterroot as well. So yeah, there's definitely still a lot of snow across the area right now. And here's kind of looking at the snowpack across the Clark Fork River, the Nevada Ridge Snowtail, which is kind of right along the Continental Divide. You can see on that Snowtail site that, there was a little bit of runoff with this last warm spell, but we are still at pretty much record high values for the snowpack wise. At the Snowtail sites, and Warm Springs, which is a little bit higher than the Nevada Ridge at 7,800 feet. Even with that last warm up, we've really not even started the runoff yet. So yeah, overall, looking at these snowtails, that last week's warm up and the flooding associated with that was mainly just low elevation, melt, basically below 5,500 feet or so, that was releasing all that water. So the real runoff hasn't really even begun yet. And looking at the flood, this is the latest forecast from the RFC. So looking at, we're going to be kind of over the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll be hitting our minimum along the Clark Fork River above Missoula, and then after that we're going to be warming up starting tomorrow, and the rivers are going to start rising and is expected to continue to rise through next week. Confidence is high on us reaching the moderate stage sometime next week. So, and right now it has it reaching 12 feet around Wednesday or Thursday of next week, and once at 12 feet, there's just numerous streets, in that Orchard Homes area that's going to be getting flooded. So, yeah, I guess the main thing is, yeah, we're really confident on the Clark Fork River above Missoula reaching moderate flood stage sometime next week. I guess, the timing could be still a little bit uncertain, but on reaching that moderate flood stage, we're definitely confident on that. And yeah, looking at, the last big flood, it reached, 12.72 feet. So yeah, with the rivers, right now, the Clark Fork River is definitely running at a all-time high for this time of year, and with the increasing snowpack runoff, it definitely looks like there is going to be a numerous flooding in that Orchard Homes area. And yeah, I'm going to pass it off to Alex. That's going to be kind of talking more about the Bitterroot River. And I guess for questions, if we can hold off till the end, that would be great.
Hello everyone, this is Alex. So I'm going to be starting by talking about the snowpack in the Bitterroot River drainage basin. So similar sort of story as the Clark Fork Basin. The snowpack in the Bitterroot Mountains is well above normal. We're kind of sitting at that 167% of normal, range. And the key story here is, similar to the Clark Fork Basin, those elevations between 3,500 feet and 5,500 feet, they did see some melting. Most places saw anywhere from 10 to 15 inches of water release from the snowpack and melt into the river systems last week with that warm period. But when you look at the higher elevations, for example, the Twin Lakes Snowtel, which is on the south central portion of the Bitterroot Mountains up at 6,400 feet, if you look at that black line, that's the observation. And you can see, so far this season, they crested at 60 inches of water in the snowpack, but currently there's about 56 inches in the snowpack, so they really haven't seen much melting so far this spring, and that's a cause for concern. You can, when you have 55 inches in the snowpack, you can almost imagine, from now into mid-June to early July, you can picture that as getting 55 inches of rainfall onto the surface, over kind of a spreading that time out from now until mid-June. So that's kind of a lot of water that's going to be being put into the the river system there. Transitioning into the forecast river outlook for the Bitterroot River, here's the latest hydrograph river forecast from the RFC, and the RFC is taking the Bitterroot River near Missoula to minor flood stage Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And once again, there's high confidence in this playing out. The majority of the water leading to these river rises is from the snowpack. There will be some light precipitation this weekend, maybe moderate precipitation in some areas, but the majority of the water that's going to be causing these river rises is from the snowpack. Looking at the Bitterroot River near Darby, a similar story. The river is forecasted to increase and reach minor flood stage kind of Tuesday afternoon. Even at Darby, the forecast is bringing the river near record levels by next week, with that 7.9 foot crest, with the record being 8.6 feet. Transitioning, spending a little time here talking about what's going on at Seeley Lake. Last week when we had those warmer temperatures, the snowpack between 3,500 feet and 5,500 feet released about 10 to 15 inches of water up in that area, and that really saturated the water table and led to increases in the rivers and the lake levels there. And the water system up at Seeley Lake is pretty slow to respond in terms of water leaving the system and having the water levels recede up at Seeley Lake. So we're not very confident on the duration of the flooding that's going to be going on up there. We're not really certain on when the water is actually going to recede. The main issue is, once again, the snowpack up in the drainage basin where the water's flowing into Seeley Lake is really, really abnormally high. This is the North Fork Jacko Snowtel, which is in the Mission Mountains up above Seeley Lake. And there has not been much melting up at elevations above 5,500 feet. At Jacko, there's almost 65 inches of water in the snowpack. So as we head into the next couple of weeks, this water is slowly going to be melting and draining down into the Seeley Lake area. So we're going to be monitoring that area for continued flooding issues, most likely for the next week or so.